So I guess my first question watching this is and you having lived through that time, why was it so magical back then? What did it have then, Hollywood and all this, that we don't have now?
Are you saying that it was magical?
Yeah. Oh, well, from what, and looking in, I wasn't alive. So I don't know. Maybe.
I was alive. No, maybe I fooled you into thinking it was magical. But on the other hand, maybe it was magical. I don't know that it was any more magical then than it is now.
Was it maybe more romanticized? Do we romanticize those times because times now are so different? Maybe that's it.
Well, I think you can romanticize the present. I think what makes a romance, I guess you would say, would be the obstacles to it, and that gives you a story. I think we had, in the late 50s and the early 60s, we had some obstacles to romance, which I was always interested in dealing with in a movie, which would involve the rules of American, what is often called sexual Puritanism, which can be comical and also sad, the consequences of this, and that started to melt away somewhat with the rise of feminism in the late 50s and the early 60s, which ultimately caused what we refer to as the sexual revolution of the 1960s. But this level of Puritanism, which I like to say would make us the laughingstock of France and other countries, is very much ameliorated by now, and we're dealing with a smaller world.
What have you take me back when you first came to Hollywood till now? What surprised you the most? What have you learned the most from all these years in this business? How's it informed your life from that? Because I think you said you got here when you're 58. Is that when you came?
Yeah.
So from that kid that got here in 58 till now, what's struck a chord with you the most, would you say? How?
I always avoid being reductive as much as I can. If I'm under oath, I guess I would have to be reductive. But I don't know how I would answer that question. But what always bothers me, I'll be quoted in 3 months because I said to you that what struck me the most was hamburgers, and I just am too. But ask me the question again.
That kid that got here in 58.
Yeah.
Now we're in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised you the most in all those years being in this business? What have you learned?
Here's my answer. I don't know. That was good. Thank you.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
If you could ask Howard, let's say I am Howard Hughes, Warren.
Yes.
Right, he's sitting right here.
Yes.
What would you ask me and why?
Give me a minute, or an hour. Did you know that I was in the next suite from you at the Beverly Hills Hotel? And if so, what were you doing with the other 6 suites that they told me you had, or the 5 bungalows? And I want an answer right away.
Is that true? He really was next to you?
I didn't know. They wouldn't tell me. I thought there were tabloids following me. This is in the early 60s, and they said, well, I complained. They said, well, those people are not with the tabloids. I said, well, then what do you mean? Well, those people are with Mr. Hughes. I said, Howard Hughes? Are you telling me that Howard Hughes is in the next suite from me? Well, we don't know. I said, then what are you telling me? Well, he has 7 suites. I said, 7 suites? Well, confidentially, please, he also has 5 bungalows. I thought, there's a movie in that.
Weren't you like, I'm fucking Warren Beatty? Like, hi.
Say that again.